Hello, hello! Perfidious Pete here with another rousing round of calamitous carnage down in the darkling deeps and wild wields of Perfidious Manor in Darkest Dungeon. And I have to say that despite the darkling deeps and wild wields, old Perfidious Manor is really starting to feel downright civilized. Gone is the misty, thick, and gloomy air that pervaded the locale on our first arrival, and in its place is a sense of, I think, cautious optimism. There's renewed hope, and tentative as it is, I think it has, in large part, been the result of us eliminating the inchoate flesh, which certainly lived up to its name, I might add. It was definitively the angriest pile of meat that I've seen since Michael Rooker starred in Slither, but that's beside the point. It was pretty ugly, but I think that is why the manor has perked up a bit, because we have now completed the first double trifecta of boss bashing required to eliminate all of the elder abominations that haunt Perfidious Manor and stalk its halls. Now, we do need to, kind of do a little bit of roster jockeying. That is something that's on our list. The inchoate flesh was no match for even our weakest team, however, which I think speaks well for the manor. Though technically this was not actually our weakest team, because Susan McAllister is absent, not coincidentally I might add, from the roster. But, she will be back because eventually we do have to get a Plague Doctor to Legendary status. A task that I'm looking forward to about as much as my next prostate exam, let me tell you, but it still has to be done. Again, like the prostate exam. And while Susan's return is pretty much guaranteed to cast a pall upon the good vibrations buzzing around the hamlet like a Mark Wahlberg jam, today is not that day because, as you can see, no Plague Doctors are available. So what we're going to do instead is just see if we can rustle up a mission and maybe, just maybe, make one last bale of hay while the sun still shines. So let's take a look and see what's on our plate. Gibbering Prophet. I think we have some guys in the sanitarium. Yeah, Gibbering Prophet's going to be off the table. We've got Randolph, Halfcock Jack, and Candy Jade otherwise occupied at the moment. What else have we got? The Unstable Flesh, which is the more experienced version of the inchoate flesh. We already, do we have one of these? I think we already have one of those trinkets. Let's double check. If we do, I don't want another. We actually do not. It's interesting. I don't really use my man-at-arms in a capacity that would make this useful. If you have them standing in the back, buffing and guarding, this is an outstanding trinket. It really is. But if our option is to kill the Brigand 12-pounder and go for a focus ring, I kind of think we got to go for the 12-pounder. I mean, I hate like the dickens to do it, which is not true. I actually don't hate to do it at all, but it still needs to be done. So let's take a look at we need to sort by level here. I'm curious what kind of follow-up team we're going to have, because some of our troopers here who are at Resolve Rank 4, this is going to be their last run. But we could do Lucy Pevensey, Brienne, I think maybe Fagin. Alright, let's slot some guys in here. I just want to kind of take a look at things. Lucy, for sure. Brienne is a kind of an absolute must. We need somebody who can hit almost any spot, which kind of leads me to think Deckard, perhaps. We could take Fagin with pistol shot, too, though. Instead of point blank. Strong case... You know what? I think Fagin may be the right choice here over... over Deckard. I mean, I do like you, Deckard. Don't get me wrong, buddy. I like you being part of a team, but I think in this situation, Fagin is probably our better bet. And then for our fourth man, I'm thinking Dorian Gray because it's not going to level Dorian. So yeah, that's our team then. All right, so let's head back, do weapon and skill upgrades. Now that we know exactly what our roster is going to be, let's get that roster sorted. All right, so Lucy Pevensey, beloved of the God line, of course, has been blessed with remarkable stamina and fortitude. She is ready to go. Brienne, let's check you out. You are also likewise 100% cool. You know what? We're going to make a slight adjustment to Brienne. She has some wrong skills. I'm going to give her Breakthrough. Not really as big of a fan of Adrenaline Rush as I initially thought, so we'll probably swap that out for Breakthrough. And that's got Brienne sorted as far as skills go. Lucy, Dorian. I think Dorian is cool. Fagin is going to need a little bit of work, though. So we're going to upgrade Fagin, and one thing we're going to do, we're going to pick up Pistol Shot at max rank here, because I have a feeling Fagin is going to need that one for when we fight ye old Brigand 12-pounder, and we got to take that Matchman and make sure that that bastard stays as full of holes as possible. We got to pump his guts full of lead and keep him full of lead. So over to the guild then, just for a little quick last check. Level 5, you are good. Fagin does require upgrading. I am orange equipment for Fagin, and we're locked, loaded, and ready to roll. So down in the dungeon we go. Down in the dungeon we go. We do want to check our trinkets, just out of an abundance of caution. I think we probably will need a little bit of adjustment in the trinket capacity. So let's take a quick double check there. Absolutely, because currently Lucy Pevensey has no trinkets at all. That seems not optimal. Let's try and fix that. Ancestor Scroll is trash. But Hero's Ring is not really useful. Martyr's Seal is straight up garbage. Tough Ring is good, but not necessarily for her. Focus Rings will be divvied out, but again, not to you. Do we have anything that's like plus healing? Or just plus crit? Plus crit would be useful if we could get some plus crit items, perhaps? Plus crit? Yes? No? Maybe so? Something? Gotta help me out here. Anything. Literally. Oh, we got you. What are you? Not terrible, actually. We could probably roll with that. Do we have any other Vestal-only items? Let's check. I don't think we do. That might have been it. Alright, let's check for Vestal-only. We do have the Profane Scroll, which is just bad. Yeah, that's our only Vestal item. Okay, so we just have the Profane Scroll. We gotta find something else we can use here for Lucy. Those Hellion trinkets are quite good. Oh, never mind. They're not what I thought they were. They're actually quite bad. And we have 3 of them. Let's make sure and get rid of one of those, then we don't need it. Lucky Eye Patch, Bounty Hunter's Helmet. None of this shit is useful. You know, a Sun Cloak is actually okay. We could probably get by with a Sun Cloak. Swift Cloak also not terrible. What are you? Bad. Good, but not for clear. That's probably the best we're going to do, really. Alright then, so Lucy's going to have to roll with a little substandard trinket action, but we're going to have to make do. Okay, Brienne has no trinkets at all. Well, we definitely got to fix that. I think first a focus ring. You know what? What does Fagin have? Fagin already has a focus ring. Okay, good then. And so Brienne, we really want to give Brienne stuff that's bonus damage. Now, she loses dodge, which is a little unfortunate, but she has good dodge anyway. So we can afford to take a hit there. The bonus accuracy, bonus crit, enormously useful. What we need, though, is something that's going to up her raw damage. Just something that gives her a bonus to base damage. Do we have anything that's plus damage? Anything at all? Plus 35 versus Eldritch, which we don't really need. A swords as Crusader only. Shit. We have nothing that gives bonus damage. You gotta be kidding me here. We do if you're a leper. We could give her an extra 20% max HP for stun and bleed resist. I'm not necessarily sure that's worth the trade, really. Moon Ring is only good if we're fighting. Oh, you're Vesta only, but just terrible. Tough Ring, an Ancestor Scroll. All of this stuff is bad. Yeah, no, none of that stuff is particularly useful. We gotta have something that we can give her. Something that's at least useful. We could give her slightly you know what? Actually, the slight bonus to dodge. Let's do this. We can negate the dodge penalty for a slight accuracy penalty, which we're more than covering up. So these two things at least are fairly complementary. It's not ideal, but it's a solution, and it's probably the best we can do. Didn't we have a second occultist thing? I guess not. Alright, what do we have that's occultist only? I know we have some occultist only items. Do we not? I'm pretty sure we do. Or I'm just completely out of my fucking mind. We have no occultist only items. Okay, then. Alright, so that's a little unfortunate. What can we do for you? Worthless? Crap. Not theoretically entirely worthless, but not fantastic. Bad. Not good. Not good. Not good. Man, this is... Yeah, alright. I mean, we could just take Doctor... Does Doctor Strange have trinkets? Doctor Strange, you do not also do not have trinkets. Carter? No. Can we buy trinkets, perhaps? Alright, so this is taking a little longer to sort out than I expected it would. We don't have a single useful trinket for sale. Well, that's just delightful. So that was a good use of our time, then. I'm glad we checked out the Nomad Wagon. That thing is a constant and bitter disappointment. I guess Dorian Gray is going to roll without him, because we don't really have anything I want to give him. On the plus side... Fagin is pretty well sorted in the trinket department. As the only thing we'd really want to do is give Fagin rabies to up his damage. But that's not really our choice. We're going to switch this. Yeah, you know, we don't need to switch them yet. As long as we recall and remember to switch them before we go into the fight with the 12-pounder, we should be okay. So let's provision this stuff and get ourselves rocked, rolling, and ready to tear this town apart. You know what? I'm going to go with probably more food than we need. 4 shovels, of course. You always bring extra shovels. Torches we're going to bring an abundance of. Probably, again, more than we need 2 full stacks. Just in case we got a really weird dungeon layout or something, I want our troopers to be as ready as possible and with as little stress as we can get to get to the 12-pounder here.
That even my generous offer of gold to the local constabulary was rebuffed. To reassert my rule, I sought out unscrupulous men skilled in the application of force.
Is that a fact?
Tight-lipped and terrifying, these mercenaries brought with them a war machine of terrible implication.
You know, it's just a big cannon. I'm not really sure, Ancestor, that a large cannon constitutes a war machine of terrible implication. I mean, you have people just walking around with guns, which are basically just smaller scale cannons. I think you may be exaggerating your role in the downfall here a bit. I mean, it's entirely your fault, that's a given, but I don't know, man. It's you summon the things. It's not like you went around doing all of the damage yourself. You made some questionable decisions, but I'm sure you had good intentions, Mr. Ancestor. I mean, it can't all be doom and gloom all the time, man. You gotta lighten up, bud. You gotta lighten up a little. Even Fagin occasionally had a nice nip of gin with the kippers. Come on, man. Alright, so we've got a towering ectoplasm. I do not like towering ectoplasms. We've actually recently had some very troubling encounters with towering ectoplasms wherein they lived much longer than I would care that they live. We really got to get Fagin rabies at some point. We've got to get him infected with rabies. Which is a very strange thing to say. At some point, we've got to get you infected with rabies, sir. But I really do want to get rabies for my highwayman. It's a fantastic little pickup. It's actually one of the better quirks you can get a highwayman. Cytokinesis, so he's going to spawn another slime. We could probably keep... Yeah, we're still in fine shape. I have a feeling we're going to be able to kill this thing pretty much with one hit from just about anybody. Even Lucy Pevins, he's got a better than average chance of taking that bastard down. I was hoping to get the kill on the fungal battery, but we didn't quite get home. Rain of Blight. The Blight is a bit of a problem, just that it does average damage over a long, relatively long anyway, period of time. Man, Dorian Gray is holding it down with the criticals, though. That's back-to-back crits from Big DG. Alright, so the towering ectoplasm is done, and then I have a feeling Fagin should be able to dash forward and get this guy taken care of. Ah, perfect. Exactly what we needed, sir. Alright, nicely done. The little Victorian thief keeping himself strong. What are you? Arbalest only. That is real bad. That is not a good item. Then again, it is an item we don't have, which kind of wants me to take it. So what do we get rid of in its place? We're going to use a key. You know what? Let's fine. We've got a little bit... You know, actually, we could get rid of... Now, you know what? We'll keep the Blight. I'm going to keep the Blight and get rid of the food. That's probably definitively the absolute wrong pick, and I'm going to do it anyway. Key goes for the heirloom chest. All we want is crests. Fortunately, there were almost no heirlooms in that chest. I should have thrown those deeds on the floor, actually, instead of eating the food, I should have thrown those deeds on the floor. Randolph... Well, occultist, you're not Randolph Carter, but you're still digging around in this mummy's guts, without protection, I might add. That Dorian Gray, he's got the portrait. Man makes a lot of questionable choices, takes a lot of chances, but that portrait is keeping him safe, so he doesn't really have to worry about STIs when he engages in promiscuous sexual behavior, which is good, because basically engaging in promiscuous sexual behavior is about all that Dorian Gray gets up to. Lucy Pevensey, I'm not appreciating my joke about deviant sexual taste there and smiting the enemies. As a result, she's clearly taken out her frustrations on others, but at least she's doing it in a useful capacity. Cytokinesis, I don't like that this makes a new enemy even when it misses. If it misses or gets dodged, I'm not really sure it's fair to still make it, or rather still have it make a new enemy. Now, granted, we did immediately kill that thing with a single swing from our first Seeker, but still... The ectoplasms are not... That's going to make a big one. Yeah, that's real bad. Also, that's a stress attack, which is doubly troubling. I'm going to fix Lucy's skills, because they're out of order. We're going to do that after the fight, otherwise at some point I'm going to need to heal and not heal and do a smite by accident. And it's going to make me real salty. Man, Dorian Gray. DG. Goodness, man, you need to put your initials, carve them into that slime, because that was a work of fucking art, sir. You need to initial that shit when you're done. Here comes another slime, and again, even though it was dodged, we're still going to get the quivering ectoplasm. A little bit of grape shot blast, not doing as much damage as I had expected, but then again, we're missing the rabies that is such a key integral part to getting fantastic grape shot damage. A little bit of facial stabbing for Dorian Gray. Our towering ectoplasm friend here is probably going to try and make another copy of itself. We're going to dash forward so we can point blank shot him on our next round. Not going to need a next round because Brienne of Tarth is there to bifurcate that big puddle of slop with a mighty, mighty blow from her weapon. We're going to eat this food rather than leave it. Honestly, I'm getting rid of this jade. A stack of gold is going to be worth more than jade even at max. Even if we max the stack at 4 jade, 1 pile of gold is still going to outprice that, so. More fighting? Alright. Number of, quite a few more fights than I would have expected here.
The match is struck. A blazing star
This we will interact with, but we're going to use the bandage. These things give you quick, like slow draw and then one other. Both of the things they can give you are minus speed on either all the time or on the first round, and I really, really hate those negative quirks, so I'm just gonna... I forgot to change Lucy's skills again. I will remember. Lucy failing to kill a twitching maggot. I'm a little surprised at that. Let's have Dorian just go for the finish then. 1 fewer foe. The maggots do have stress attacks, so taking them out early is beneficial. Granted, of course, the ghoul has an AoE stress attack, which probably makes it the priority, but the chances of us killing it before it got an opportunity to take an action were pretty low. It just rended instead, which is just damage and a blight, not really a problem for us. And we should be able to handle the rest of this guy's health before he gets another chance to attack. So we'll patch old Fagin up there with a little Victorian remedy. And then we'll continue working over our ghoulish friend here, who is almost certainly dead unless Fagin just straight up misses. Yep, that's fatal damage with the bleed. And there you go. Who would have thought that an undead abomination like a ghoul could bleed to death, but, well, they do have a heart, and, you know, if you prick them, do they not bleed? Apparently the answer is yes. They've taken a page from the Book of the Merchant of Venice and have decided that if you prick them, they do in fact bleed. It seems like a critical weakness, ghouls. I mean, if you have the option of choosing whether or not to bleed, you should probably just pick no. Just don't bleed ever. A little grave digging. It definitely did pay off. Alright, so we're going to drink that and get the anti-venom, because I will take Onyx. Onyx piles up to 2,000, which theoretically makes it more useful than gold. That jade is still a complete and total piece of garbage, so it remains on the floor. Unloved, unwanted. It's, yeah, it's basically like, oh, you know, Fagin's orphans. They were unloved and unwanted. It's an Oliver Twist thing kind of working there. Fagin clearly is working a conceit. I hate these dogs so much. And once again, I forgot to adjust Lucy's skills. I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna remember before we fight the 12-pounder to adjust Lucy's skills. I'm gonna remember. Except I'm not gonna... Come on, give him rabies. Yeah, come on, give him rabies. Come on, Fagin. You know you want the rabies. Give him the rabies. Damn it, he resisted. Fagin, why would you resist rabies, sir? Never resist the rabies. You're a highwayman. You need those rabies. You want them in you. Like a cup of coffee on a cold morning, Fagin. You need the rabies inside you. You need them in your body. Nice damage from Brienne, and a bleed as well. These blighted giants really can do quite a bit of damage if they hit with a tree branch smackdown, so... we will try and not let them do that. We do need to get a heal on Fagin as well. He's a little banged up. Here comes the smackdown, which Brienne of Tarth quickly dodged. That's going to be all she wrote for our little gigantic friend there. Fagin resisting to bleed. We'll go for the big heal. That's got our little Victorian foot pad fully patched up. Brienne back to working this guy over. More damage, more bleed. Speaking of bleed, Fagin got a little bleed himself, but that's fine. 15 damage and another bleed. This giant is bleeding 8 per round. Confusion spores. This is just going to reorder our group. Not really much of a problem. This guy is all but dead. And now he's all the way dead. Man, Dorian Gray has been all over the place with criticals. Just criticals to the left, criticals to the right. Here we are, stuck in the middle with Dorian, and frankly, it's a good place to be stuck. If you gotta be stuck in the middle with someone, Dorian Gray, not a bad choice. We're gonna get rid of these portraits because we don't need them. Emeralds, however, still have a use. So we'll move you back to your spot. Actually, I would like you two to swap if you could. Thank you. And let's check out this tent. Inside the traveler's tent, we find an extra shovel, a bunch of gold, a bandage that we can just make use of, and some deeds that we can leave on the floor. The only heirloom we need right now, just a quick reminder, we're still looking for crests. We do need a few of those. Other than the crests, though, we got no real need for any kind of heirlooms. Pick up a little extra food, which, you know what, I think we'll just eat it. I don't want to carry an additional stack of food. We have plenty. We're going to pick up a fight here. Oh, this tenacious crone has got to die. She's terribly tenacious, like Jack Black and Kyle Gass tenacious. She really is a bit of a problem. So let's stab her in the face. 12 damage. Good start from Dorian Gray. First kill all the lawyers, and there you go. Tenacious crone. Tenacious no longer, unless she's going to be tenacious about being a corpse, because she's definitely tenaciously a corpse. Not fantastic damage from our front two, but probably good enough damage if we're honest. Let's do a little patch up here. Brienna's a little banged up. Bring her back to full health. It's going to let Dorian Gray go for the facial stabbing. And no exciting criticals or anything so far on this ghoul, but our troopers are getting it done. The four-way dodge more than making up for the lack of criticals on the ghoul. That was brilliant. And this guy is probably done. He is entirely done. That's 2 ghouls down, and we have yet to be hit with a howl. I'm very impressed with what our troopers are bringing to the table. Eat up this food, just waste not, want not. Kind of a Ben Franklin sort of thing we got working there. Let's fix our skills before I forget again. Mostly it's just that they're out of order, and I really want them to be on her bar in the proper order. Dorian, yours are already good. Brienne, yours are also good. Fagan, you are likewise good. No, you're not, actually. Oh, no, never mind, you are. Okay, good. Alright, fantastic. Let's burn a torch here. Just keeping our light level to the maximum as best we can. Bumped up, 89 is plenty. In we go, then. Man, another Blighted Giant. These guys have a lot of health. 99 health, which I think may be the most a monster... No, that's not true. I was going to say some bosses have more than 100 health. But Blighted Giants do have more health than any other base monster that I've seen, I think. Hulking Swinatars and those things tend to have sort of the upper mid-60s. Blighted Giants just have a ton. Dodger. Wow. Little riff back on that one, Fagan. Dodger fucking dodged you. How do you like it when Dodger comes home to roost? Yeah. It's all coming home now, isn't it? Probably should have left that Rabid Gnasher alive, honestly, just on the off chance that he would give rabies to our highwaymen. The drawback to that is some of our other troopers I don't necessarily want to have rabies. That's more of a highwayman only thing. Highwaymen can get by with having rabies, but rabies would be... You know, I say they'd be bad for Brienne, they'd actually be okay. Hellions could probably get away with having rabies as well. But some of our other classes, we can't really stand the accuracy penalty, even with the potential benefit of enhanced damage. But the attacks of our Hellion probably, and definitively our highwaymen, their base accuracy is high enough that they can handle the penalty, and the extra damage is just extra damage. Little tree branch smackdown, Fagan with the dodge. Our troopers have been very good about watching out for the tree branch. It's like they've studied game film of these, and they know that when the team goes into the I formation, look the fuck out, because they're going to throw that Hail Mary. Alright. The cache so far has been beyond acceptable. We're going to drop that torch and pick up this stack. The busts we're going to leave. We have no need for those. We will probably be camping very soon. Do we want to camp? There are 2 cases here. We could camp for the buffs for fighting the Brigand 12-pounder, or we could try and camp afterwards. But the thing is, the Brigand 12-pounder does not really have stress-causing attacks, so I think we're probably better off to camp sooner and minimize the number of potential criticals, because the only possible sources of stress in that fight are going to be from getting criticaled, so the faster we can make the fight end, the less chance we have of getting criticaled, thus the less stress we take overall. Also, the buffs definitely increase our chance of survival as well, but I'm not really that concerned about the survival portion. So let's pitch camp here. We will feast because we do have some stress. And since we have no other stress and everyone is fully healed, we can spend all of our remaining time on buffs. So we're going to sharpen spear. We're definitely going to clean our guns, because cleaning guns is just a thing that always happens. Dark Ritual. Dark Strength. Increases stress by 15, but gives somebody plus 20 damage. Yeah, let's do that. We'll put that on Fagan. It gives him a little bit of stress, but honestly, We can probably handle that. We could bless someone, which I think we should definitely do. Accuracy and dodge, I think that's probably good for Brienne. And then let's get rid of that stress. If they're religious, it heals 15. I don't think Fagin is religious, is he? He will not. He is probably not religious, so all things considered, we're probably better off to just encourage. I meant to encourage the wrong unit. Yep, that was definitely a mistake. We could abandon hope and get rid of his stress. That basically just moves it, though. We still have 15 stress either way, it's just then it's spread out amongst 3 targets. Though now that I think about it, that's probably better, because a critical then has a better chance of reducing it. So we'll just move that 15 and spread it out amongst the 3 targets and hope that we get a lucky critical that allows us to eliminate it all. Theoretically, if we were counting on having to do stress relief after the mission, consolidating it onto a single target would have been the right choice, but I don't really have a strong inclination that we're going to necessarily need stress relief. Although these maggots are a bit of a problem. They all have a stress attack. Dorian Gray still holding it down. Criticals to the left of me, criticals to the right. Here we are, stuck in the middle with dead. Little Grave Nibble, adroitly dodged by Brienne. Brienne has some good buffs. Let's go for a kill on a unit that has not gone. Lucy Pevensey pulling out a mighty wallop, 15 damage. That's a solid blow from Lucy. You know what? Just wicked hack that guy. He hasn't gone yet. And that gives Fagin the chance to dash forward and eliminate our last twitching maggoty friend. He is done dealing. We can pick up the bus for now. We'll probably just wind up throwing them on the floor. For now, though, we can always haul them out of the dungeon. I mean, I'd rather have something than nothing. We're going to get in a hallway fight here. Alright, so the crone has got to die. We have to get the crone to the... Actually, we forgot to reorder our party, but it's not a tragedy. But we do have to kill this crone, because theoretically these ectoplasms could continue just making more ectoplasms for a very long time. And we got to get rid of any stress we can get rid of here, so... I'm not going to be able to kill the crone, which has me a little disappointed. Brienne should be able to wrap him up, though. So we're going to get a big ectoplasm. That's also a stress attack. Alright. So the stress is making me a little salty, but the death of the crone has reduced my saltiness very slightly. I think we just start on this guy with the big bleed attack. I would rather get the big bleed guy down. We're going to be able to take out this quivering ectoplasm with some area attacks, I have a feeling. You know what? We can mark him to death. He has 1 hit point. Doesn't matter what attack we use, we just needed that one to hit. Let's do a little area heal. Everybody's a little banged up, and I want us as tip-top shape as possible for when we go in to fight the 12-pounder. Yeah, we can probably dash forward. We're getting some solid damage here on the ectoplasm. He's going to make another target. Even though we dodged it, he's still going to make another ectoplasm. But a 13 health guy is really kind of something we have a pretty good shot at handling. Let's put the debuff on you. We really got to get our order back in. We got to put our house back in order, damn it. Wicked hack. Didn't quite get there. Big slime. Ah, that hurt. The stress probably as problematic as the damage on that attack. We're going to get 7 of that health back. I hate point-blank shotting here, but might as well kill him. He hasn't gone. We do have a non-zero chance of bringing this guy down, but I think we're probably going to focus on healing instead. Back to full. We resisted the bleed. Brienne putting down a solid shot, and I think going for the kill was the right move there instead of going for the heal. 1 or 2 health if we're missing that. It's way more than being stuck in there. Way better than being stuck in an eternal fight with a bunch of slime. We don't need the busts. We're not going to need medicinal herbs between here and the last fight of the dungeon, I'm fairly certain. Pack contains loot. What do we got? An anti-venom, which we have no use for. Some gold, which we already stole. Let's max our torchlight here.
In radiance, may we find victory.
And you know what? We're down 6. I'm keeping it as high as possible. In we go. I want it full torchlight when we go in to fight the 12-pounder. So here we go, the 12-pounder. Now the Fuseman, these guys are very important. The Fuseman gotta die. That's the way this fight goes. That's sort of the gimmick or the mechanic. You keep the Fuseman dead, he never lights the cannon never fires and kills everyone because those cannons do an absolute truckload of damage. Of secondary primary, we try and focus on the Fusiliers when we're not actually hitting the cannon itself because of blanket fire, largely. You are immune to bleeds. We probably... Yeah, no, we have Iron Swan. We're fine. Let's just Wicked Hack. We got to get started on the cannon. It has a ton of health. We got to start whittling it down as best we can. We're going to go for the Grape Shot Blast here. Excellent aggregate damage. The critical is less excellent on the comeback. I don't really like that. He's going to get reinforcements. Reinforcements summons just more guys, and again, of primary importance is killing the Fuseman. We kind of got to focus on that Fuseman simply because if he dodges like that, it can be very problematic for us. So let's go for a little artillery. He is still not dead. We can't leave him alive. We can't risk it. So we're going to kill the Fuseman. I would have much rather put that hit on the cannon itself, but you got to take what you can get, and you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you blow up a cannon. Also, that grape shot blast did some fantastic aggregate damage right there. And the reinforcements, all we got was a single Fuseman, which Dorian Gray immediately walked up and stuck a knife into his throat. That guy is done dealing. So we're going to take this opportunity to patch Fagin up with a little bit of heal. And then we're going to have Fagin and Dorian go to work on our cannon friend. And you'll note that critical still only did 10 damage. The Brigand 12-pounder here, as you can see, has a fantastic amount of protection. It's real strong, 70%. Which means basically all your attacks do 30% damage. More reinforcements, another Fusilier for us. The Fuseman is going to get whacked. 10 damage from Lucy Pevensey. We could take him out with a grape shot, but you know, it's probably a waste. The point blank shot is going to do us better. We can have Dorian Gray stab that guy in the face if we need to. I don't like waiting for a last... Nah, you know what? It's not worth the risk. I don't want to wait for our last attack because there is a non-zero chance that that attack misses. Dorian is 90% to hit with the sacrificial stab, but that's still 10% chance that he lights the fuse and we get wrecked. So probably not worth the risk. It's better to double up. Grape shot blast here. Critical on the cannon for 10 damage and a good start on the Fuseman as well. Lucy should probably be able to take that Fuseman down, so we're going to have Brienne hit the cannon. And then we've got Dorian and Lucy on backup if we need them. Looks like it's going to be unnecessary. And this is a good opportunity for Dorian to get the debuff here for us. Only 2 damage, but that will increase everyone else's damage. More reinforcements. Got multiple reinforcements here, so we got a Fuseman and a Fusilier. We still killed the Fuseman. And if we get to bleed, that's fatal damage. Alright, we did get to bleed. And you know what? We're going to leave that guy alive. If we can, we're going to let him linger. He will drop dead. There's no reason to focus any more attention on him. He's going to bleed to death, but we're probably just going to grape shot blast anyway. So you know what? He's still going to be dead. My hope was that the cannon would go first, not summon reinforcements because of the Fuseman, but turns out the Fuseman got collateral damage to death, and it didn't matter anyway because everything is dead and we have 0 stress. They are indeed laden with loot. That is well observed, Mr. Narrator. We got quite a hefty haul of good loot here. And I gotta say, as far as loot goes from bosses, I think the Brigand cannon items may be the highest loot payout in a game. I don't think there's anything that comes back with better loot. I do want these crests. I don't think there's anything that comes back with better loot. We're gonna get rid of this food. We still have a whole stack of food. There is some dungeon left. I don't really feel compelled to go investigate it. So let's get rid of these torches. We'll take this sunstone and this portrait. The medicinal herbs we have no use for. We could have ideally thrown that shovel on the ground as well. But again, no real use for that. The Brigand 12-pounder is no more. And we're going to take our victorious little chant here. Get ourselves another focus ring, which I very much like. One of my favorite trinkets overall. And we're going to march our way right the hell out of this dungeon. The Brigand 12-pounder is done dealing. And we put another notch in the bedpost, folks. And additionally, as just an added ancillary benefit, Brienne of Tarth hitting that champion resolve rank like the champion that she is. Ruins Phobe is not necessarily fantastic. Wheeled Adventure is okay. Let everyone else do. Fagin is off guard. That's gotta go. And Lucy Pevensey is a known cheat. Lucy. What did Aslan tell you about cheating? Did you not learn your lesson? You know he will punish you. I mean, he'll condemn you straight to hell for even the mildest infraction, Lucy. You better toe the fucking line. Backtracker is effectively worthless. Meditator, whatever. It's no fated or, you know, natural swing or anything like that. So we do have a few champs from our last team, though, that need to head into, get a little bit of treatment in a sanitarium, and we can check also to make sure that we can fire Goldmoon and bring Susan McAllister back on board, because I don't want to do it, but it does have to be done. I'm telling you, that chick is just like a prostate exam. Don't want to do it, but it has to be done. Candy Jade only has 11. It was Brienne. Never mind, it wasn't Brienne. Who was it? Lucy? You got, like, Meditator? We don't care about any of those. Doctor Strange. Bad Gambler and Enlightened. Sort by level, please. Wasn't it was Fagin. Fagin got off guard, which has got to go. Actually, Fagin needs quite a bit of treatment there. And Dorian Gray, then? Nope. So we took Dorian Gray, we took Lucy Pevensey, we took Fagin, and we took Brienne. Which was, two of them, it was you. You got... Ah, that's what it was. Ruins Phobe. Okay. Sorry, you have such a long list of fucking quirks, Brienne, that I was having trouble narrowing it down. Do we have anybody else we want to send in to get rid of something? I think the top layers of our list are actually pretty good. You know, we could probably get rid of Dark Temptation, I think. Doctor Strange. Randolph Carter, have you got anything we want? Nah, you're just resolute. Roderick is only God-fearing. Madeline is good. Halfcock Jack is fine. Candy J just has a love interest. Lucy is a known cheat, which while that will get her in trouble with the God Lion, we're not really going to worry about. None of those is really horrifically bad. Fagin's already in. Simpkin, me. Scattering is kind of... that's range skills, doesn't matter. Tippler. Diurnal is shitty. Let's get rid of that. I don't like Diurnal. In the event that you do decide to go full on dark, you want to make sure your troopers are as dark adapted as is possible. So that's a good start there. Let's check the old stage coach. And it looks like Susan McAllister has found her way back into the hallowed halls of Perfidious Manor. I'm not happy about it, but sorry, Gold Moon, you gotta go. And Susan traveling clearly under an assumed name here, just so, you know, we would maybe not recognize her, but we all know it's you, Susan. We all know it's you. Why will your name suddenly not fit? I beg your pardon, Darkest Dungeon? Excuse me? This name fit last time. We had a Susan McAllister on our roster. Fine, we'll spell it with one I, even though that's spelled wrong, because seriously, I know for a fact we had Susan McAllister in here before. What's the deal? Ah, whatever. So what? We spelled your name wrong, Susan. What are you gonna do? You're lucky to have a job at all. Don't complain about the fact that the name on your paycheck is misspelled. It's just, you better not complain. Seriously, I don't want to hear any complaints. No shit out of you. You stick it. You're lucky to have a job. Speaking of lucky to have a job, we're gonna buy every skill because none of her skills matter. We don't need to do any gear upgrades, and it's gonna be a long time before Susan makes it back into the dungeon to really have to worry about. We're not gonna be doing any rank 0 missions anytime soon. When we get Garrett, Katniss, and Bruenor probably to the next level, we will likely take Susan simply because we have no other option. But all we need is 2 Resolve EXP to get that done, so. That being said, Susan back on board like a bitter pill at the back of my throat. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up before I choke on my own rage. If you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comments section. Your support really does mean a lot to us. And if you'd like to see more Darkest Dungeon, we post new episodes 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right now, however, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.